that we will deliver in the days to come additional Aster missiles, new training programs and new Mirage, and we will, with some other colleagues.
On the night of October 25th, a massive drone attack on the territory of the Volgograd region resulted in a new hit on the energy infrastructure. According to the Astra Telegram channel, citing the governor, a fire broke out on the territory of the Balashövskaya power line substation in the Novonikolayevsky district. According to the Russian Defense Ministry, the air defense forces fought off the attack of the drones, but the debris of one of the devices caused a fire at the substation. This is the second attack on the Balashövskaya power line in the last month. On October 16th, Astra's OSINT analysts geolocated eyewitness video that confirmed the attack on the facility. The recording was made on Levchenko Street in the Novonikolayevsky workers' settlement, in the direction of the Balashövska 500 kilovolt substation. The substation has an installed capacity of 1,523 megavolt amperes and is located in the north of the Volgograd region. It ensures the transit of electricity from the Volga HPP to the central regions of Russia. The facility supplies consumers in the Novonikolayevsky district of the Volgograd region, as well as in the southeastern part of Voronezh and the western part of the Saratov regions. Ukrainian FPV drones also struck and destroyed a Russian power substation in Belgorod region. Ukrainian leadership has made it clear that strikes on Ukraine's energy network will not go unanswered. President Zelensky has warned that if Russia continues its campaign against power plants and critical infrastructure, Ukraine will respond with operations capable of leaving major Russian urban centers without electricity as well. This message signals a shift towards strategic reciprocity, aimed at deterring Moscow from attempting to plunge Ukraine into darkness during the winter months. It also underscores that Ukraine retains the capability and resolve to hold the aggressor accountable for any further escalation targeting civilian infrastructure. Ukrainian warriors from the Novem Group Special Unit Ballista struck a buggy, 2 cars, 2 motorcyclists, and a truck in Russia's Kursk region. The Novem Group's Ballista Special Unit executed a bold strike deep within Russian territory, targeting multiple vehicles in the Kursk region, including a buggy, 2 cars, 2 motorcycles, and a logistics truck carrying materiel. This operation demonstrates the unit's ability to infiltrate thousands of meters into contested space, operate under cover of darkness, and deliver precision strikes with minimal collateral damage. By striking behind the front lines, Ballista challenged the assumption that the Russian rear areas, logistics corridors, and transport nodes are safe from Ukrainian operations. The choice of targets, a combination of light vehicles and a logistics truck, disrupts both small-scale mobility and the sustainment of Russian forces in the region. The fact that the action occurred near Kursk underscores Ukraine's expanding reach and its capacity to force Russia to allocate air defense and ground reaction units far from the active front, thereby stretching its resources and complicating Russia's tempo of operations across a broad zone. Russian infantry and their expert use of anti-drone capes drive Russian military correspondents to hysteria, who note that local commanders lack understanding of proper deployment and fail to provide electronic warfare cover or airspace monitoring. French President Macron has pledged additional missiles for Ukraine's SAMP/T air defense systems and new training programs for Ukrainian pilots on Mirage fighter jets.
Capabilities, drones and anti-drone system. I want to confirm, Volodymyr, that we will deliver in the days to come additional Aster missiles, new training programs and new Mirage, and we will, with some other colleagues.
Zelensky hinted at undisclosed decisions made during the Coalition of the Willing summit, saying details remain confidential to make things harder for Putin. He emphasized that sanctions are hitting Russia hard, fuel shortages, bankrupt regions, and a bleeding budget, all of which, he said, personally affect Putin. Footage released by Russian military channels show the shelling of Kherson this morning. The number of wounded has risen to 22. Among the injured is an 83-year-old man who suffered a concussion and head trauma. Medics treated him on the spot. Russian forces continue to bombard civilian areas in Kherson on an almost daily basis, revealing a deliberate strategy of terror rather than any pursuit of achievable military objectives. After being driven from the city, Moscow has relied on artillery, guided aerial bombs, and drones launched from occupied positions across the Dnipro River to inflict casualties among residents attempting to rebuild their lives. Residential buildings, public gathering spaces, medical facilities, and transportation hubs are routinely struck, often during peak daylight hours when civilian presence is highest. These attacks create persistent fear, disrupt essential services, and force continuous evacuations, placing enormous strain on emergency responders. The absence of legitimate military targets in many of these incidents highlights the intent to punish civilians simply for living under Ukrainian governance. Russia's actions in Kherson illustrate a broader pattern of systematic violations of international humanitarian law, seeking to erode morale and governance through indiscriminate violence. Despite this, the city remains resilient, with Ukrainian authorities strengthening shelters, fortifying critical infrastructure, and responding swiftly to each strike, underscoring the determination of Kherson's population to withstand Russia's campaign of coercion and intimidation. And from the other news, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth ordered the deployment of the 12th Carrier Strike Group, led by the USS Gerald R. Ford, the world's largest aircraft carrier, to the area of responsibility of the U.S. Southern Command to combat narco-terrorism. The U.S. Department of Defense spokesman announced this on X. In support of the President's directive to dismantle transnational criminal organizations and counter narco-terrorism in defense of the homeland, the Secretary of War has directed the Gerald R. Ford Carrier Strike Group, an embarked carrier air wing, to the U.S. Southern Command area of responsibility, the spokesman stated. The area of responsibility covers the landmass of Latin America south of Mexico, waters adjacent to Central and South America, and the Caribbean Sea. This is to strengthen the ability of the United States to detect, track, and disrupt illegal activities that compromise the safety and prosperity of the United States homeland. The strike group, in addition to the aircraft carrier, also includes Arleigh Burke-class missile destroyers, USS Mahan, USS Winston S. Churchill, and USS Bainbridge. These forces will enhance and augment existing capabilities to disrupt narcotics trafficking and degrade and dismantle transnational criminal organizations, the spokesman said. In early October, Donald Trump announced operations against drug cartels on land. And on October 24th, it was announced that the 22nd Marine Expeditionary Unit of the United States Marine Corps would conduct joint exercises with the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force, just a few dozen kilometers off the coast of Venezuela.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Rescues every day. We had a guy last week at 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.